of much optimism.
Chat, have y'all ever sent one of those photos, like the couple goals one? You're cooked if you send one of those. Let's go YouTube. Today I'm gonna be reacting to the day Gen Z got cursed. Seems like a good video. I hope this doesn't happen again to whatever gen I'm in, Gen X, Y, Z, B, C, whatever gen I'm in. Also, if you guys are wondering why I'm wearing a hat, I'm balding. As you can see, look at this. Without further ado, let's get to the reaction.
January 26th, 2020 was the day everything seemed to change for the worse. It also happened to be my 15th birthday. I can't seem to remember much about the day other than the fact that I was scrambling to finish my science fair project for school. And oh yeah, one of my childhood heroes died in a helicopter crash.
Chat, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. One of like my favorite NBA players and one of the best of all time. No meat ride, no meat ride.
I can still feel the shock of my brother texting me RIP Kobe and the subsequent Google search confirming the news. My family was never big on birthday celebrations, so I didn't have a big party to look forward to, spending much of the day coming to grips with his passing. It was the first time a celebrity death seemed to have any real impact on my emotional state. I wasn't immediately overwhelmed by grief or sadness. Honestly, after I got the news, everything just felt off. I felt a deep pit in my stomach that persisted for the rest of the day, and I had trouble focusing on my science project. Unfortunately, this feeling did not subside, and the coming week, I was filled with a similar strange pit in my stomach, as well as a more bleak outlook on life. The first semester of 9th grade, I had a blast. Starting high school, making friends, it was a time of much optimism.
Chat, have y'all ever sent one of those photos, like the couple goals one? You're cooked if you send one of those. That's gonna be on social media for like the next 300 years.
The first semester of 9th grade, I had a blast. Starting high school, making friends, it was a time of much optimism. But after Kobe passed, it felt like the joy in the world went with him. A month later, we all know what happened. All of a sudden, we were stuck inside. I'd made great strides to socialize and make friends my freshman year, and now the only communication I could have with them was over Discord.
Quarantine was peak life, bro. 2K19, 2K20.
In 2021 ended up being the worst time of my life. Not because I remember it as particularly bad, but because I can hardly remember it at all. I can't recall any significant memories from that time of my life other than Zoom classes and watching movies in my bedroom. The isolation got to me bad. I know this because of the media I consumed. BoJack Horseman, Blue is the Warmest Color, Manchester by the Sea, Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, Perfect Blue.
This dude had the worst taste of all time during 2020. Family Guy, Simpsons, all of that, bro. You're watching BoJack Horseman. What is that? Blue is the Warmest Color. That's like a girls' TV show, I'm pretty sure. Manchester by the Sea. Hold up. What are these shows? Perfect Blue? What is that? Black Swan. That's like a dancing TV show.
Final Project. All of these are great pieces of art, but were terrible picks for an isolated high schooler who was still trying to figure out life. Eventually, we got back to the outside world.
Do you guys remember Among Us? Chat, Among Us was like peak life right there, bro. That was one of the best games of all time, and then it just got ruined somehow.
Thing was the same. The youthful optimism and wide-eyed curiosity I possessed before had left me. My hatred for school grew exponentially, but I also had no clue what I wanted to do with my life, which created this self-fulfilling loop of misery. The rest of high school was a slog, a never-ending cycle of tests, essays, and a deep longing for more from life. I just wish I could go back to that first semester of 9th grade and stay there forever. But time waits for no man, and every year that passes, that 14-year-old that I once knew grows farther and farther out of reach, and the pressures of growing up mount ever heavier. I used to make fun of millennials a lot. I would make the same tired jokes about them being the participation trophy generation and how they think they're more special than they actually are. But I no longer make these jokes because at least millennials seem to have purpose. Gen Z, by stark contrast, is clinically meandering, too afraid to publicly care about anything, yet secretly overly concerned with everything. Millennials think they can make a difference. We know that we can't, so we don't even try. Unless it's by damaging property.
Chat, I swear, this is the worst generation just for like damage. We had devious licks in this generation. Hold up, what else? F students thing going on right now where you stick lead in a Chromebook. I don't know, that might be it. Those are like the worst trends.
Up was a lie for Gen Z. It wasn't Zac Efron dancing and playing basketball.
Hey, Troy
it was
Bolton
8
right
hours of Zoom classes for a year and masks for another. We don't want to have fun.
Okay.
We just want everyone to think that we are. Reality is artificial, authenticity is scarce, everything now is aura farming, nonchalant slop. Subjected to incoherent word vomit about how all her friends are fake and how she needs to post again. If I talk to a Gen Z guy, 50% of the time it'll turn into a subtle contest to assert dominance and prove that you get more women, make more money, and have more fun than he does. If you try to be interested in something, you're corny and trying too hard. If someone makes you mad, you got rage baited. If you keep up with the news, you get anxious. If you don't keep up with the news, you become isolated. It feels like nothing really matters anymore. Massive events pass by like they're nothing. Time is running at 2 times speed, and adulthood is not what you thought it would be. I feel like we currently occupy an alternate reality and the timeline split, like we're in a Black Mirror episode warning us of the negative effects of a prolonged period of societal isolation. Sometimes when I'm sitting alone, I imagine myself going back to January 25th, 2020, the night LeBron passed Kobe on the all-time scorers list, and I could just warn him that I could prevent the imminent tragedy from happening. I didn't realize what Kobe Bryant meant to me until he was gone. You see, I grew up a Dallas Mavericks fan, so I spent my entire childhood rooting against Kobe whenever he'd play my team. It wasn't until his retirement that I found myself watching all of his interviews and falling in love with his mindset and approach to life. He represented everything that I aspired to be like. Driven, obsessive, thoughtful, curious, a man who spoke through his actions. And
as I just said, Kobe Bryant, that's like the best player of all time. He had that Andrew Tate mindset, you know what I'm saying?
I'm writing this at 2 a.m. because I can't sleep and want to put this restlessness to use, but really, I guess this is more so just a message to myself. Maybe the timeline did split. Maybe this is the darkest timeline. Maybe growing up is not what you thought it would be. So what? Make it count while you're here.
Exactly. Alright, YouTube, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe to the main channel, the second channel, the gaming channel, the clips channel. Yeah, make sure you join up the Discord, and peace.